Hi, and welcome to No More Homework Battles. I'm Liz Weaver of Learning Success, and I'll be your host for this exciting video series. We understand that homework time can be a battle. We're here to make life easier for you and your child by showing you how to win the homework battle. In this video series, you will hear from a variety of educational professionals and parents alike. Each one will give you a tried and true tip for helping you and your child enjoy homework time once again. In today's video, we have Gil Gibori, and Gil says, entrepreneurs are all about seeing connections that others miss. When Gil looked at tutoring, he didn't see students, tutors, and white-walled study areas. Instead, he saw a mashup of Apple's Genius Bar and the Soho House. With that vision and his experience as the co-founder of Test Prep and Tutoring Center in Chicago Academic, the house was born. Gil has a passion for working with teenagers, and he wanted to create a community that they wanted to be a part of, coupled with serious educational tools that would help them find happiness at school and reduce the stress and anxiety so many teens and their families have around homework, tests, and studying. The house is a parent-free zone where kids can either go to be amongst friends or get one-on-one tutoring help from extremely qualified tutors simply by asking for it. Gil developed his enthusiasm for helping kids when he himself worked a side gig as a tutor while earning his biology degree. After graduating, he worked in molecular biology for years before starting a technology transfer company and then a think tank focused on life science innovation. But while he liked science, something was missing: the opportunity to work with kids. Like many successful serial entrepreneurs, Gil pivoted to focus in that area and created an oasis for students to learn and grow. With Gil and his wife Carrie at the helm, the house has revolutionized the tutoring world and is currently looking at expanding to serve even more communities nationwide. In Gil's video, he's going to talk about how this generation of kids is so different when it comes to homework. He makes a very good point that I think you'll learn from. Let's watch.
All right, so the big question is how to combat homework resistance. So this question's been asked for decades, but this generation of kids, they're different in that they are the most anxious, the most stressed, the most clinically diagnosed with anxiety and depression. The data is pretty clear. 70% of students in adolescent years identify school-related topics as their biggest stress, whether it's getting into college, doing homework, or school itself. The same 70% identify friends as their biggest stress relief, more than any supports we give them in school or even their family. And actually, family and parents are identified as a pretty significant point of stress. So that's not something any parent doesn't know. And we all know that when a kid comes home after a very long day at school, a long day with extracurriculars, at which point they are highly pressured with adults that have what we call an attachment to the outcome. Teachers need their students to improve, coaches need their players and their dancers and their cheerleaders to succeed because it reflects on them. And then when the kids get home, the parents are just as attached to the product of the homework, the project, the assignment, the test. So these kids live under constant stress and they're just not built for it. No kid that age is. So what we've done is we've taken our belief that getting homework out of the home and built an entire business model around it. We call it the house. We invite parents to gift their kids a membership to the house so that they can get homework time out of their house, out of their home, into our house. And the idea here is parents are not allowed, and we have tutors roaming around who are accessible through technology and app, just the way these kids like to communicate with the world. And what happens is these kids are with their friends, already identified as their biggest stress relief. They are being helped by tutors and experts that have no attachment to the product. Their attachment is to helping the student. But whether that project is exactly what the teacher or the parent believes it should be, that's really not part of the dynamic. And so by relieving all that stress and housing the kids and allowing them to go to a place that has their friends but is themed around the idea of finishing homework and completing work and being more productive, that seems to be at the core of what they need. What we find is that these kids are actually more productive when they're just given a little bit of a longer timeline. So meaning they come in, they relax, there's no one looking over their shoulder, so even when a kid goes home and watches TV for a little while, they're under pressure. How long can they watch? How long can they talk to their friends? How long can they sit on the computer? Here, there are no parental eyeballs on them. Actually, parents are completely blocked out. And so this dynamic is such that they know when, by the time they go home, either before dinner or before it's time to go to sleep, they just have to have a certain amount accomplished, as defined by their teachers, as defined by their parents. But how and how fast and in what setting was determined by them. And even when they get the help they need and from whom is entirely up to them. That's another problem. So even parents who can be Nobel laureate level experts in the subject matter that their kids are working on, that dynamic doesn't work. It never has. It's what has kept tutoring alive since Aristotle. So basically what you have is an expert at the home with a dynamic that's already infused with a parent-child control mechanism. You bring them here and they have the same experts, but again, with no control element built into the dynamic. We are here to support them, we're here for them to enjoy themselves, we're here for them to meet the goals the parents have set, but none of it is high pressure. So not every city has a house yet, not every city has a tutoring lounge like ours, so how can you do this? Well, as a community, you can infuse places that they enjoy going with an education component. I know I grew up going to the YMCA. There's community centers all around. Even the libraries in our communities can just make the actual atmosphere more dynamic. So you can't see the lounge right now, but we've built it how you would imagine Facebook and Google and these fluid work dynamics, which are also very similar to how we studied in college. You give them that environment, and by the way, that's the environment they're going to end up working in. And now they can start to really find their place in whatever mood they're in at whatever time they need. So you find community centers that are willing to invest in just designing a space that speaks to the teenagers, blocks out the stressful elements of the world, and allows them to just get help and be with friends. I think you'll find that homework time, like in college, how it was for me, was actually some of my favorite time because I got to mix it with being with my friends, overcoming challenges together, and then going home with my work done. So that's what we're seeing with teenagers right now. It's an ecosystem like we never believed we would see. It's even more dramatic than we expected, and I think it's completely replicable in even non-business settings, whether it's schools, community centers, libraries. So that is my solution to resisting the instinct of children to be stressed by homework. Thank you.
Thank you, Gil. That was a good reminder of how anxiety affects this generation of kids. This video has been part of our No More Homework Battles series. We created this because so many parents struggle with homework battles. Please make sure to share this video, and when you do, use the hashtag NMHB for No More Homework Battles so we can find you on social media. If you would like to be a part of this initiative and share your story or expertise on the subject of No More Homework Battles, you can get in touch with us by using the contact form at www.learningsuccesssystem.com, and if you put No More Homework Battles in the subject line. Thank you for watching today and for sharing the video. In case no one else has told you yet today, you are an amazing parent. I appreciate you for showing up and doing the work it takes to embrace your child's brilliance and unleash their potential. I'm Liz Weaver of Learning Success, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.